Hi guys, Zambina here and welcome back to another speed build video, and I'm so glad that you're here. Now this build is a little bit longer, quite long video, and it's mainly because this build ended up being quite a lot more complex than I had initially envisioned. I don't really know where I got this idea from. I just wanted to make, I think my original idea was to make a house with that was 2 or 3 floors, and then on the top floor was a pool in the middle, and then there was living space under it and all around it. That was kind of my initial plan, and it turned into this, which is not quite the same thing, but I think it still looks pretty cool. This is quite, it looks like a big house, I think, from the screenshots in the intro there, but it's not really that big. It's on a 30 by 40 lot, and the actual living space is not that big. The ground floor is quite spacious, but it probably looks even more so because it's going to be an open floor plan. But the upper floors, where the bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff are, they're really not that big in terms of just actual space, and that shows even more with how much I struggled with the floor plan up there and where to put the stairs. But I did cut that out because it took absolutely ages, and it was infuriating me because I apparently just enjoy making things difficult for myself. But I really like how this came out. It's, like I said, I called it a villa, not a mansion, because I feel like a mansion would have more actual living space. You know what I mean? It is a pretty big property, but a lot of it is outside space and pools. So it's not really that much of a mansion. I don't know if villa is the right word for it either, to be honest. I'm not super knowledgeable about that, but I hope it's okay. And there's a lot of outside space, and I used a lot of eco lifestyle, and I used a lot of perfect patio stuff for this because I wanted a modern look. I wanted it to be really sleek and modern, and those of you who have eco lifestyle and are builders know how perfect that pack is for modern. And I had just purchased perfect patio stuff along with a few other things in the sale, and it was perfect for the outside. It was so good. It fit really well. And here I am trying to work out the pools and all that, because I wanted, I didn't want them to just be floating. You need some pillars, and I'm struggling. I cut out most of my struggles, but it was things like, what are they called? Freezes? Is that how you pronounce it? The trim, the thing that, not the exterior trim, but the other thing. I honestly don't know how you pronounce it, but you can see I have it on here now, and in the end I actually end up removing it because it was causing me no end of issues. It was places where it wouldn't show up at all, even though I tried to apply it. It was places where it would show up inside, on the interior. I placed it on the outside, on the exterior, and it just showed up on the interior as well, and I couldn't figure it out. In the end, you will see that I switch it out for just regular exterior trims, and yeah, the exterior trims, while not quite as large and you can't really see them as much as you can these, but they worked a lot better. They worked the way I needed them to, so they had to be the one. And here I'm adding some, what are they called, trellis? I think that's the term. I considered putting plants all over it, but in the end, there is so much going on with this house anyway. I meant it to be sleek, but the amount of stuff that's outside, and all that's going to be a lot of landscaping outside around the house, and it was too much, and I wanted it to have that kind of sleek look. So I just leave the trellis as they are. Trellis, I don't know. Grammar, I don't know. But I just leave them here. I thought it was kind of a cool look and gave a bit of texture to the outside bit, other than the pools. And I don't know if you can tell, but you can tell, but the interior, the bits that are the interior, they're literally one tile that overlaps from the top floor to the bottom floor. No, top floor to the second floor. You can see what I mean. Tried to fit stairs in there. Absolute nightmare. You can see that I have the doors to the exterior facing this way currently. I end up moving them to the other way. They face towards the pools in the end because I could not figure it out. I couldn't work out how to fit the stairs in with the doors being there, fit the stairs in and the rooms in that I needed. It didn't work. It wasn't working. The rooms would have been absolutely minuscule, and I didn't want that because this is still meant to be quite a fancy house. You know, this is meant to be, you know, a house for pretty rich people. And I start working on the exterior a little bit. I will put a dumpster in that area behind there, I think. I played around with making an actual like garage, not a functioning one, but like a little building with the debug garage doors that we have on it, but it didn't really work and it didn't really fit in. So I end up just making a driveway, and I do work a little bit more on that later. And I'm making a little fence around there. It's going to be filled with plants. I do believe I cut out most of the landscaping because it takes absolutely ages. It's very dense. I think I'll leave in like the last bit of it or something. And I will swap out those cars as well to like 2 different ones. And that was just kind of placeholders for me to try to figure out where to put things. And I give them bikes as well in the end. Oh, I give them little parking spots. I do remove those in the end as well. And 2 bin bags, 2 bins, because I feel like that's more realistic. I feel like most like houses have at least 2 bins for different types of waste. And I'm using, I think I use mainly, I don't know if I use that much debug stuff in this. Because I didn't have a budget, and I thought, you know, this is a house for rich people. Well, that's what it feels like, at least. Very sleek, very modern rich people house. So I didn't really feel the need to stick to a certain budget or anything like that. And I've completely forgotten to mention, this is a family home. Oh yeah, you see the end of my landscaping. This is a family home for 4 people, 4 Sims. So 2 parents, and I believe I pictured 2 teenagers. And the reason I'm saying that is because I did not put any sort of toys in this build. The 2 kids' bedrooms are more for teenagers, I believe. So there's the master bedroom for the parents and 2 kids' bedrooms, basically, or teenager bedrooms. If you wanted to have kids in here, I'm sure you could fit in some toy box or something, activity table somewhere. But what I built it for was 2 adults and 2 teenagers. And I'm just working a bit more on the exterior. I am adding some details. I love these wall decorations from the Eco Lifestyle expansion. I think they are so pretty, so stylish. They work really, really well. And you can see I'm using the tool mod to move the columns a little bit so that they fit in the window. I will have a link to the tool mod in the description because it is an amazing mod. And if you are a builder and you are comfortable using mods, you should definitely give it a look because it opens up so many opportunities. I am not super comfortable using it yet. I sometimes shy away from using it because I feel like, oh god, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. It can take a little while to get the hang of it, but once you do, or when you do, it can be really, really rewarding and really, really good to use because you can make so many different creative things. And you can see I'm using the Perfect Patio stuff to furnish the exterior. I thought it fit really well. It had the black and white swatches. It works really well with the modern style, in my opinion. It's just like simple and kind of sleek looking, but still comfortable and inviting looking. Like I would sit on that couch or in that chair. Like it looks really nice. And it, like I wanted, you know, I didn't want it to look sterile. You know, I wanted it to be still comfortable and inviting and beautiful, but still modern, which can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. And I will not tell you how long I spent trying to decide which bar to put there. It was, and in the end I chose this base game one because I felt it fit the best. But I had several different options that I just went back and forth for ages and tried to make it work. I tried to make it work with the 2 tile bar from Perfect Patio stuff, but it wasn't working for me. Even if I put 2 down and tried to combine them or put something in between them, it wasn't working. I wasn't liking it. this is basically the purple over there by the bar. That's basically the only pop of color other than green on the exterior. Like everything is, as you can see, obviously very black and white, as it tends to be with modern builds. But that I gave the bar a bit of pop of color because I thought that would be cool. And these two tables, like I put 2 tables because I thought it balanced a bit more with the 2 couches and stuff. And I'd end up using tool off camera to move these decorations on the table so that they sit in the middle of the tables in the center. But it took me absolutely ages, and then in the end they ended up disappearing. So in the end I will remove one table and just have the one table there so that the decorations can sit normally, because I wasn't going to do that again. I was having a lot of issues with tool just on that table. You can see now at the edge there, they're sitting at the center. And then somewhere down the line, I don't know when, they end up disappearing. I just noticed suddenly that they were gone. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. It was so much of a faff. So I just removed one of the tables and just make it a normal, just one coffee table. And here I'm working on a little exterior seating area and a grill. Have a barbecue out here, have some friends over, hang out in the hot tub, all that. I didn't put the hot tub with the roof over it because I thought, you know, they're already under another pool, so it doesn't really need to have a roof over it. But I did put the 20th anniversary hot tub. I put it upstairs on the top floor, atop the rooftop, I guess. I do like how the way I built this has completely made it unnecessary for me to do any actual roofing. Like anything, like the rooftop is just flat because there's an area up there to have like a party basically, and anything else is just like all these terraces and stuff. So I didn't need to do any actual roofing, which I thought was, you know, life hack. Make a roof terrace. You don't need to do any roofing. Roofing, I like it when I get roofing right, obviously, but roofing can be such a struggle, and I am always doubting, like, does this look dumb? This is stupid. Like, roofs are hard. Roofs are difficult. Those of you who do roofs easily, kudos to you, because I cannot. Could never be me. Watch too much Plumbella. No, no such thing. There's no such thing. And now I am finally working on the interior. You can see here I've done the floor plan. It was a struggle and a half. It was hard, but I got it in the end. Putting down some floors and wallpapers, and of course it is the eco lifestyle stuff, because what else? You can see I put down this dark blue tile in the bathroom. I do end up changing it to a lighter blue tile so that it matches the light blue accent on the eco lifestyle bathroom items. So the bathroom items have a swatch which is black, and then it has almost like a neon blue turquoise accent. So I end up switching the tile to one that matches those. But you'll see that later on. Actually, I lie, you will not, because this is so long. I cut out all the bathrooms. I didn't intend to cut out the master bathroom. Well, it's not the master bathroom, but the big one downstairs that you saw just there. I intended to leave that in. However, I forgot to start recording when I started to make that bathroom. So, it's not in here. But given how long this video is already, even without that bathroom in there, that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing. The bathrooms will be in the screenshots. You'll see how they look. Hopefully you like them. But now I'm working on the little dining space. I love that table and those chairs from Eco Lifestyle. This was the first time I used Eco Lifestyle in a build. I absolutely fell in love. I love this area. It's perfect. I love it. I don't know what else to say. I think it's perfect. Not to toot my own horn, but I would love to have a dining space like this. You can see that little space that is like between the dining space and the windows, the small windows there, and I don't know why I didn't just drag the dining space out to fill that space, but I thought it might be weird because then the fence I put around the dining space would cut into those windows that are over the counters. In the end I ended up putting some plants there and stuff, of course, so it's not that big of a deal. But sometimes I feel like, why didn't I? I would have been better. And I'm using, I believe it's Perfect Patio stuff again for the kitchen. I really, really like it. I really like how it looks. I think it fits the style. I was considering making the kitchen white, like the counters and stuff white, to like make a contrast for the walls and the floor. But in the end, I really felt that black really worked. It looks very modern, and maybe it's not for everyone, but I really, really like how it looks. And just putting up some counters. I believe there are no Perfect Patio counters, but these base game ones worked really well. I thought they fit the style quite well. I love that trash can. I want to put that trash can in every build because it's so convenient, but I know it doesn't really make sense. I felt like these are better. I will put curtains on that window eventually as well. I just don't do it now. And I put in these pictures on the wall. I believe you can get your sim to actually go in and frame them, since the frame disappears when you place them. However, I forgot to do that. So when this is uploaded, they will be without a frame. But I believe you should be able to, if you play in this house, you should be able to just tell your sim to go and frame them, and they'll have those black frames on again. I think that's how that works. Don't quote me on that. I don't play that much anymore. I mainly build. And here you can see I pulled out all my kitchen clutter, and I'm in the process of placing it in various, well, places. I do end up taking away some of this clutter. I believe the fruit bowls go, and I think also the wee plate with like baked goods, I think that goes as well. Display case, because it was a little bit too much. I think kitchen clutter is quite easy to overdo because we have so many things that can fit into a kitchen really well. And you also usually, well, I usually think of kitchens as something in real life. They are really cluttered. There is a lot of stuff that goes on in the kitchen. So I think it's quite easy to overclutter kitchens, and then obviously everyone can have a different opinion of what is overcluttered. Like if I was making something like, you know, maybe a slightly less modern home, or a home that was a lot, like maybe more rustic, a little bit less modern, more just like whimsical, then I would clutter the heck out of absolutely everything. But in this type of build, when it's meant to be a bit more sleek, a bit more modern, like I imagine this family absolutely has a maid, you know, cleaner. It felt like I had put down a little bit too much clutter. It didn't really feel, the balance was a bit off, at least in my head. That doesn't mean that, you know, it would be wrong to put a bunch of clutter in here, but oh well. You can see I'm starting the bathroom, and this is basically the only bathroom thing you're going to see. You can see I'm changing the tiles. And then I had to take a break in my recording, and when I came back, I forgot to start it again. So you can see the bathroom is now done. I really like how it came out. I used some platforms in there to kind of surround the bathtub. And yeah, you will see it in the screenshots, and hopefully you like it. And sorry about that. And now I'm working on the living area. I did struggle where to put the TV because I have like a whole wall that's just pulled. But so I couldn't use a wall mounted TV. I mean, I probably could have with new objects, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that because I felt a little bit too unrealistic. So I just put it on a wee console table over there, and using these, I believe those seats are from Discovery University, and the couch is from, I don't know where it's from. My memory fails me. I can't remember. I really can't remember. I don't build enough. And here you see I am riding the struggle rug once again, and trying to find rugs that I enjoy. I wish I was better at rugs, but it is what it is, and we are who we are, and I am not someone who's good at rugs, and I need to accept that. I'm starting to just put down some plants, some decorations. There's going to be a lot of plants, a lot of decorations going on here. Just on the walls, things like that. I do believe I end up removing one of those wee side tables and putting down something else. I think it's that little side thing on the floor with like magazines and like a remote control, things like that. I don't know what it's called, like a little wooden caddy or something. I don't know what it is. Now you can see I'm working a little bit on the hallway. I do end up changing the plants in that corner quite a few times because I can't make up my mind on what to put there. And I put a thermostat down for, you know, because you need that. That's something. Because I don't play that much, and I do have seasons, but because I don't play that much, I forget that you need to have a thermostat. Because otherwise, your streams are going to overheat or freeze. At least if they're in one of the normal worlds. Because this is in Newcrest. Because I know Newcrest is kind of... It's a little bit controversial because a lot of people hate it because it's just empty. Which is fair enough. But the thing is, I like building a Newcrest where when I don't really know where I'm going with a build, I knew this was going to be modern. But I wasn't sure exactly how modern, and I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And when I don't really know what style I'm going to end up using 100%, I like building a Newcrest just because of that, because it is a blank slate. Well, not 100% blank slate, because there are houses around you that you can see once you're in the actual lot view. But it feels more than like a blank slate than anywhere else, and I couldn't really find another space I was comfortable doing that in. So hence why I built a Newcrest. I kind of enjoy doing that, although I know a lot of people don't like Newcrest for valid reasons. You can see I'm putting out some clutter here. I put the debug remote control, that tray, I love that tray, and some magazines, that book, that notebook, it's so good. I cut out me cluttering these shelves by the bathroom because it took forever, and it was just me pulling out various plants. There's more plants, there's always going to be plants. And I believe I am now changing out... Oh yeah, the sink! The sink disappeared. I don't know why. It just disappeared. I went and did something else. I was thinking maybe this was the next day. So I built this over, I think, a couple of days. And the sink was gone. And I don't know why. I have no idea. It just disappeared. So I was putting it back. I don't know why it just went. And I don't know. Is that something that happens? Is that a glitch? Is that known? Sinks disappearing? I do not know. I genuinely do not know. And here I'm just adding some armchairs to the seating area so that some more people can sit there. And now I'm finally working on the second floor on the bedrooms. So they end up being quite stereotypically one girl's bedroom, one boy's bedroom. Obviously it doesn't have to be that, but one is blue, one is red. And what I pictured is that the boy's bedroom is a teenager who is like an older teenager, who's quite studious, also into gaming, but also quite studious. And side note, as you can see, there is a tile of exterior trim, wall trim, inside this room. I'm not sure what that is, but don't worry, I just fixed it. But yes, as I said, I picture that the son is quite soon, like, probably away to university or something like that. Like, he's quite studious. He wants to study hard at university and be successful. I'm not sure what he would want to study, but I figured he's got like a lot of books. He's quite into just learning things, and I feel like he's quite a responsible kid, teenager, whatever. I feel like I try to make the room not too stereotypically like masculine. Like, there's some flowers and stuff, there's a teddy bear. Like, I try to make it so that, you know, you could put any kind of sim in here if you wanted to. Like, don't feel like this is just restricted. It has to be a teenage male sim, because that's, you know, if you download this and play in it, you could do whatever you want. But that was kind of what I was picturing for him. So I give him books and the desk and all that. Quite a lot of books and studious type clutter on his desk. And the bookcase and stuff. I think I give the daughter a bookcase as well. I think both the kids have a bookcase, but the parents do not. They do initially, and then I remove it. I'll get to that when we get to the parents' bedroom. And they have that fancy art by the bed. I was gonna put like a corkboard there, but it seemed a bit weird. And I thought to myself, you know, this is quite kind of a fancy house. I feel like they would have artwork rather than a corkboard. But maybe a corkboard would fit in better with the studious aspect. Oh well. It can't be perfect. I am not perfect. And here I am just cluttering up his desk some more. You see he has these books that look like kind of homework, schoolwork, books. I picture him being pretty much a straight A student. He has these plans. He knows what he wants to do. He's going to go to university, and he's going to have no problem getting in because he's very, very good in school. His parents are supportive, all that. And now moving on to the daughter's room, and I picture her being also a teenager, but a little bit younger. Like maybe she's only recently got into teenagehood, so to speak. Maybe she holds on to her childhood a little bit, because I think she's got some stuffed animals and stuff in there. And I don't really know what I would picture for her. I picture maybe she's a little bit more artistic or bookish, like bookish in the sense of like not necessarily studious, but just really, really likes to read. Maybe she wants to be a writer. I think maybe she wants to be a writer because I feel like she would be the type to just get lost in fantasy worlds and want to be an author. That may or may not have been me when I was a kid. You know, we all have dreams. But I feel like that's what she would be like, you know, books everywhere, but just as her brother's bedroom, books everywhere, but different kinds of books. You know, he has like a lot of stuff to learn from. Not saying you can't learn a lot of things from reading fiction, but they read very different things, if you see what I mean. So that's kind of what I picture for her. And I think she's very into plants as well, because I give her a lot of plants. I feel like she's, you know, she's bookish, she's got green fingers, she wants to be an author. That's kind of the vibe that I got for her. And here is some struggle rug again, because rugs, the Discover University one is so good though. That one, I think I set it down. Did I set it down? Do I set it down? I don't know how big it actually is. But yeah, it's a lot of plants in her room, just in general. I really like her room. I really enjoy the aesthetic of it. And now we are on to the parents' bedroom. I did struggle a little bit with what color scheme to use for this, but in the end I go with this kind of mustard, orange, brown deal, which I think ordinarily wouldn't really be my thing. But I think I make it work, especially like in contrast to like the black and the light floors and walls. So the parents will also have a computer, and I initially give them a bookcase. However, I put it, you see the space in between the desk and the wardrobe just there? I put it there, and the sim ends up not being able to access it, and I didn't feel like they could access the desk and the bookcase, and the bookcase and the wardrobe, but I didn't feel like shuggling everything around too much, and I wasn't sure what was blocking the access. So in the end I removed the bookcase, because there are plenty of other bookcases. There's also one of those, there's also a bookcase downstairs, like I think it's one of those that just sit on a side table, one of those small ones. So I didn't end up giving them a bookcase. But I give them these wall decorations. You can see, you can see they're too tall. It's the slightly too tall ones. I do fix that. Don't worry. And then I do end up putting shelves here that I clutter up. I cut out me cluttering them up because it takes absolutely ages. I spent a lot of time fully cluttering up those 3 shelves. It's in the screenshots, but I couldn't include it because even sped up, it was so long. It was too long, and I don't think it would have been very fun to watch because I'm just in that one spot for ages, just cluttering up. And I also give them a lot of plants. I did have a little bit of a pathing issue with the plants and getting to the bathroom door, and also with Sims getting in between the computer chair and the bed. But I did sugar things about just a little bit. I just scooted the desk a little bit closer to the window and scooted the bed back just a tiny bit, and then it worked. So it wasn't really a big deal. And that makeup tray, I love that makeup tray. It's lovely, I love it, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. And I'm cluttering up the parents' desk. I didn't really know what the parents would do. I'm pretty sure one of them had a job that required the computer. Like maybe one of them does something freelancing, maybe something fashion related. I feel like people who live here would do something fashion related. Is that me stereotyping people? Rich people who live in modern homes have to be into fashion? Is that stereotyping? If that is, I'm sorry. But maybe. And maybe one of them works in something more like, I don't want to say more serious, because I don't want to imply that, working in fashion isn't difficult and serious and all that. But maybe one of them works a bit more about like a normal office job. I don't know which one would do which though. It's all up to your own imagination. And you can see I've started to work on the upstairs a little bit, but not quite yet. And you can see that they were chipping the wall decorations I put down, and I did fix it. And yeah, you can see I've also done the bathrooms, and I furnished the little landing upstairs with some skill items and stuff. I cut that out because, actually I lie, I forgot to film that bit. But it's just a few, like, there's a chest table, an easel, and a keyboard. But it'll be in the screenshots. Yeah, I cut out the furnishing of both landings because it was just, it wasn't that interesting. And it'll be in the screenshots. And now I'm working on what I call the party area upstairs. Which is basically, I used the same bar from downstairs. I just changed the color scheme from purple to blue. And I put a bunch of stuff there. I have the hot tub, there's a dance floor, there'll be some seating areas with more perfect patio stuff, because of course. Now, the only thing I did consider here is that the DJ station, and I assume maybe the dance floor, if it rains, I don't know if this, because that's a debug object that's sitting over them. So I don't know if that will stop rain. It does have like a full footprint, like you can see when you pick it up, it has like squares all around it. It's not just a one square, which some debug objects are. So I actually do not know if that will protect us from rain. At one point I tried making a floating roof under it and put it like with the glass texture for the roof so that it would be almost invisible. It didn't end up working out. I've removed it. I hope it'll be okay. If it's not, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry if it breaks. And I'm now furnishing the other terrace bits as well. You'll see I've put a basketball hoop on the lower one, which in real life would be an absolute terrible idea because the basketball would go over the fence literally all the time. But in Sims, don't think that's a problem. I do end up putting a punching bag down there as well because I wanted them to have some sort of exercise stuff other than, like, obviously they can swim in the pools, but I wanted them to have some more like gym equipment, and there was no space inside. Like I said, like the actual interior of this house is really not that big. It's smaller than you think. It's seemingly small. But yeah, I'm just adding plants, some seating areas, things like that under here, just make it nice and lush. And oh yeah, and I put couches there right in front of the basketball thing. I do notice that, and I removed them. Yeah, that's when I noticed. I was like, hang on, this space needs to be free. But we are coming up to the screenshots very, very soon. This build is fully playtested and available on the gallery. All the details for that are down in the description, as well as links to the mods I use. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any thoughts, I would love to hear them in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!
One Not gonna stress, not gonna make a mess.